Hi, everyone. Rebecca Bouldin here with Practice by Numbers, and I am so fortunate today to be talking with Carrie Webber. Carrie Webber is the president and the owner of Jameson Group. And so what we've been doing is we've been looking at the Q4 2025 practice performance report and the benchmarking data that accompanies that. And what stands out to me really is this mixed story. Softening patient inflow, stronger execution inside practices. And Carrie, you and your team at Jameson, you work with practices across the country. Does this align with what you've been seeing in real life, especially in Q4 of last year?
Yes, thanks, Rebecca. Yes, I'd say, with every year comes seasons of new patient flow and that overall practice growth performance dependent upon new patients. And as those seasons ebb and flow, I think it's always a really good reminder for practices that your consistency is key in having stability in those numbers. We're big fans of Practice by Numbers here at Jameson. Many of our clients utilize the tool simply from an analytics standpoint, but you have a great deal of tools that you all have added to the menu of services over the past few years that practices can benefit from. It's important to keep your finger on the pulse of those numbers. And when the new patient numbers start to dip, it's our responsibility as practices to really monitor the other numbers as well to see, what's the story, what's the practice story telling us in terms of our level of intention, in terms of asking for new patients, providing services that encourage referrals, and our external efforts as well to keep that new patient flow going. So while there was likely a dip in new patient numbers for many practices, I think that's the spur that we need to take a look at. And it sounds like from the report, a lot of practices did indeed do some necessary uptick in their efforts internally to shore up any loss that they could have experienced because of it. And what I mean by that is, whatever they were doing in their patient experiences and their treatment presentations were helping to offset the dip that they may have experienced in those new patient numbers in that last quarter.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you hit on one of the things that really did surprise a lot of people, probably not you, but that average hourly production actually increased in Q4, even with fewer patient visits.
Mm-hmm.
And as you spoke to it, some of those um, operational procedures really getting tight with workflows. So where did you see teams tighten their workflows and just perform better operationally in 2025?
That's a great question. I would say, something that we've always taught at Jameson, a part of the model of success that we teach is that we want to present that comprehensive treatment, and patients want cost, time, and fear are the top three reasons, according to the American Dental Association, of why patients forego treatment or delay it. So whatever we can do in our efforts to help offset those concerns or obstacles is key. And so a lot of practices, when you don't have as many patients coming in, new patients coming in, it actually gives you time to deliver something quite exceptional to those patients that do come in. So I would suspect that a lot of them were delivering some pretty excellent new patient experiences and presenting comprehensive treatment and providing financial options, following up with treatment and allowing patients room to say yes to the very best. There were probably a lot of practices that were following up more intentionally on diagnosed and incomplete treatment of patients that they already have. A lot of practices do that when we start to see dips in new patient flow, because we need to tap into those patients that already trust us and believe in us and are committed to our practice. So there's probably a great deal of follow-up that if we were being consistent, we would be doing regularly, but a lot of practices tend to do that in the dips.
Yeah, when they have that time to be able to take care of it. And that's where automation is so key. Like
Right.
create good systems, good processes, so that that patient follow-up doesn't fall through the cracks, so to speak.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, another key trend that we saw was that collections declined less than production, which is great.
That is
Practices
great.
protected revenue, even as that volume softened. And, you know, in your opinion, what separates practices that protect revenue from those that leak it during the slower periods?
Well, it becomes more important than ever if your new patient flow is lower, so your overall practice production could take a hit simply from patient flow. It's more important than ever to protect that which was coming in. Money in the
Yeah.
bank is the money that counts, right? And so, not to overly hype up practice by numbers, but one of the things that we've always loved are your analytics, that we're keeping a finger on the pulse of our collections, our accounts receivable, all of those things that are really important to keep a healthy workflow going, those business systems, those business key elements that we need to be tracking. The moment you let accounts receivable get away from you, the snowball gets very difficult to slow down the snowball. So your consistency practices is key. And the unfortunate thing about a dip in new patient flow and perhaps patient traffic in the last quarter is that may have given us time to really take a better, more intentional look at the big picture, and really shoring up the foundational systems that make a practice consistently healthy, one of which is collections, Rebecca. So,
Oh, absolutely.
when we're busy, when we have a lot coming in, we don't pay as much attention to those foundational pillars that are keeping our business healthy. And so I would encourage us all to learn lessons of the success that you had in the fourth quarter from the things that you did more intentionally with those foundational pillar systems in your practice: collections, treatment acceptance, patient experience, all of those things that are reflecting in the performance of practices in this report. We can thrive even in the down seasons of new patient flow. And actually, all of those foundational systems you put work into actually help build up the potential new patients coming in, so that the right new patients are coming to you because you're delivering something exceptional to the patients you already have.
Yeah, and really the big takeaway from that and from the data too in the report is that practices, they had to be leaner and more focused and disciplined in Q4. Now we're in 2026 right now. As we start off this year, what should practices not like undo as that patient volume returns?
That's such a good question. Something, it's funny. Jameson, as a coaching company, has been around for well over 3 decades now. So we've seen a lot of peaks and valleys economically as a country. And we always tend to have to preach a message of go back to the basics. When practices start to panic, if it's not all feast, if we begin to panic. And what I would encourage you, just like coming out of the pandemic, so many things that we learned in terms of patient experience and communication, and a lot of the tools that Practice by Numbers has now added into the mix over the last 5, almost 6 years, is build on those, but continue to refine and strengthen the key core business systems that help a practice workflow go smoothly, help patient experiences be smooth and successful, so that you can consistently hit the bullseye in terms of exceeding patients' expectations and delivering something great that helps them not only come to you, keep those appointments, but say yes to and complete treatment. And above all else, they love you so much, they stay and they refer. And so when you think about that, that's more than simply getting new patients into the practice. It's delivering something exceptional and creating great systems that help you be efficient, streamlined, and help make the patient's experience as easy and exceptional as possible.
Yeah. So well said. Um, so let's say I'm a dentist, I'm listening to this, and they're, these trends, they are relatable to me. Where, as a leader, would I want to focus first? Like,
Ooh. Well, I think go look at your numbers. If some of this hits right and feels like a pain point to you, then go to your analytics. If you're a Practice by Numbers customer, client, go look at your analytics and see what your practice's story is telling you. Do you have goals set in your software that you're tracking? And are you hitting those goals or not? And if you're not hitting those goals, then you need to prioritize what you need to focus on to shore up the performance that you're lacking in those areas. If your accounts receivable is starting to climb, why is that? If we're not collecting what we're producing, what is happening? We have to start to, you see the numbers, and then you have to go find the root cause of that issue. Are we not getting the same treatment acceptance that we've been getting historically? Then what's the story behind those conversations we're having or not having with our patients? Does that make sense, Rebecca?
Oh,
So
absolutely.
everybody's priority list is going to be different based upon what you're experiencing. I cannot tell you how many times in the last quarter in practices and groups that I've been working with, when we start identifying the areas of need and concern, and we start brainstorming things that they can do to improve their results, how many times I've heard the response go, "Oh, we used to do that."
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? We used to do that. And then for some reason we stopped. And so it's sometimes not even a bright, brand new, shiny idea. It's something that you used to do that worked, that for some reason or another down the line we stopped. And the question is, did you did you break something that was working for you?
Yeah.
And find those things. And the way that you can determine what that is to go, if anything hit that hurts in this report practices that you're looking at, go look at your own numbers and compare the difference and see if indeed I need to prioritize collections, so to speak, or if it is the patient experience, telephone, whatever it is, hone in on that and train, find resources, add to your practice by numbers menu of services, whatever you need to do to help tweak what you're doing just a little bit better so that you can get back to getting the good results you used to have.
Yeah. Oh, great. Well, so I know before we jumped onto this recording, we were having a conversation about the report, and you had mentioned that you liked the report, that you saw a lot of great insight in there. Just as kind of final thoughts, what did you think was resonant with the report, or what do you think an owner could really gauge from taking a look at the metrics?
Well, now I'm a nerd about these things. So I'm always really fascinated in what's happening overall in big picture. And this is such a great, and I think a lot of practices and a lot of doctors and practice owners are like this too. We want to can be able to compare ourselves to what how everybody else is doing. Because sometimes when you're an island by yourself, you're like, gosh, is it just me? Am I the only one struggling here? Or what's
Yeah.
happening for everybody else? So I encourage all of you as business owners and practice leaders, the more savvy you are on what's happening in generalized terms, the more likely you're able to forecast, predict what's going to happen for you and what you can start to work on proactively instead of reactively. Even if new patient numbers have not been down for you, boy, that gives you something to celebrate. You're above the curve. But also seeing what the country is experiencing as a whole, you can know I need to double down on what's working well for me. So I'm always trying to encourage practices to get a handle on the big picture, see what that means for you in terms of your performance, double down on what's working well, and be proactive. It's so much easier to be proactive, Rebecca, in our practice growth and development than reactive. If you wait too long and you start getting hit with what the trends are telling you, then you have to really spin your wheels and work twice as hard versus doing the work now to sustain what's already working well.
Yeah, and a small change could mean a big difference, but also something really small right now is easier to fix than when it snowballs into a much larger problem.
Exactly.
Similar to what we talk about when we go to see the dentist, right? Like
Yes.
our own oral care. So
Yes. Oh, that's funny, Rebecca. I talk about that all the time. I compare our own businesses versus how we talk to patients. When is it the easiest and the most affordable for a patient to take care of diagnosed need? Now. It's not going to get better.
Yeah.
And so it's the same for our businesses. Better, instead of sticking our head in the sand and pretending and hoping that, oh, that's not going to happen to us, better to be on the offense and ensure that it doesn't happen to us by being proactive in our execution of the operations of our business.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Carrie, it is such a delight to talk with you. If somebody wants to learn more about the Jameson Group, we'll go ahead and we'll link them, a fantastic partner of Practice by Numbers. And linked in this as well is the Q4 practice performance report. So please take a look. We'd love to hear what you gauge as insights as well. So thanks, y'all.
Thank you.